Lisa is carrying a bag of groceries. She trips and drops all her fruit and vegetables. Will people stop to help her? And will the responses vary according to her location? Will it matter if she's alone with a passerby or in a crowded place? According to research by psychologists John Daly and Bib Latane, chances are you get more help if you're alone with a passerby. Findings show that the more crowded a place is, the less likely a person will receive help. This phenomenon is known as the bystander effect. Let's find out more. In 1968, the psychologists invited a group of students from New York University to take part in a discussion about adjusting to university life. These students were split into 3 groups. The student in Group 1 would be talking to just one other person. The student in Group 2 would talk to 2 other people. And the student in Group 3 would be talking to 5 people. However, the students were unaware that the discussion was just a cover-up for the actual experiment. The people they were talking to were not actually present. Their voices were pre-recorded monologues. So really, they were all alone. They just thought they were speaking to other people. What Daly and Latane really wanted to observe was how students in each group would react to an emergency situation. Would they help when someone needs help? Researchers define helping as leaving the room and notifying the experimenters of the issue. So, how did the students in the experiment respond to this emergency situation? Here's what happened in each group. The first student, or rather the voice recording that the real student heard, started a casual conversation about adjusting to university life. Before he ended, he threw in a small but important detail: he sometimes gets seizures when stressed. Initially, he sounded fine, but then it sounded like he was starting to have a seizure. To the real student who was listening, there was no doubt that this was a real emergency. The students who thought they were alone in the room with a student in need. Everyone in this group reported the emergency. It took them less than a minute to react. For students who thought they were in a group with 5 other people, only 60% of them reported the emergency, and it took them over 3 minutes to react. The experiment concludes that the crowd size really does decrease the chances of a person getting help. But what makes a crowd? One more person is all it takes. Daly and Latane believe that as the number of people in the group increased, the students felt less individual responsibility to help because they assumed someone else would do it. This is called the diffusion of responsibility, as the burden to help now falls on the shoulders of 1 or 5 other people. The bystander effect shows that people do have a natural inclination to help, but that tendency is just affected by the number of people around you. To overcome this effect, never assume that others will intervene in an emergency. Be that first person to lend a hand.